Hi roses, my name is Tianna and welcome to this reading. This is going to be a message about what is coming next in this connection. So that will be primarily for those of you who are currently in romantic connections and are wondering what will be coming next for the both of you. However, if you are not in a romantic connection or you are single at this time, you are still welcome to watch this video. However, some parts of it may not resonate as much for you. As always, because this is a general message, please take what resonates and leave the rest. These things can be interpreted in a variety of different ways depending on the context of your specific situation. So please do not fret if not everything happens exactly the way that I explain in this video. However, if you are interested in receiving more information about your specific situation, you can book a personal reading with me in the link in the description box. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Let's begin. I'm going to start by pulling some Romance Angel cards. First of all, we have Make the Effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So this both means making the effort towards the connection, but also making the effort towards yourself. And this is important to be done mutually if you are interested in this connection, kind of continuing on to a new phase. However, as always, it is important to start from within yourself. And so you can focus inwards, focus on giving the love that you may have been giving to this other person, making sure that you're primarily directing your love to yourself. And if you are in a connection with somebody that is aligned with you, they will also be doing the same thing. And that energy will extend beyond both of you and, allow things to flow more easily between you, allow the love to be felt between the two of you and anyone else around you. But in order to have a healthy and lasting committed connection, it is important not only that you're both making mutual reciprocal effort, but that you are also prioritizing your own well-being in this connection. Not getting stuck into cycles of codependency or people-pleasing, or finding yourself changing yourself to try to kind of fit into what you think the other person is looking for. It's important to start with a level of respect towards yourself and make sure that you are still at the center. Practice decentering other people in your life. And then we have the card Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. So for some of you, if you are asking about a connection that maybe is currently in separation, or you're kind of unsure about where things are coming next, this is a sign that you guys could be coming back together in the near future. I always caution people that are in that type of position to take this as one of potentially many signs or messages that could be coming through about whether this is really the right thing that you want in your life. Because while it is possible to bring somebody back in, you may have outgrown their energy, or they might have outgrown yours, and you might just be in different places than you were when it was originally happening. And so you may not really be able to come back to that exact feeling that was happening before. And for a lot of you, you probably don't want to, because there may be situations within this dynamic where maybe this person really wasn't showing you the effort that you deserve, or you were coming from a place of, not loving yourself and not respecting yourself enough to know your worth and know how much you really do deserve within a connection. And so while this is an indication that somebody from your past could be coming back in, it is always important that you listen to your intuition and decide whether that is even something you want anymore. For what is coming next, there's going to be a shift towards, making more of an effort, likely from both of you. However, it could just be from one of you. And if you are the one who is increasing in effort, again, I encourage you to put that energy towards yourself and think about whether you are giving way more than you are receiving, because that is not a healthy dynamic most of the time. And you may be choosing to kind of step forward on your own in an effort of putting yourself first, rather than reconciling with this person or, continuing to try to make it work if it really does not feel like that mutual effort is coming across. And also, it's important to not make excuses just because somebody is making some forms of effort. If it's not in the ways that really make you feel loved, that doesn't mean they're not putting in the effort, but it might mean you guys are not as compatible as you think, because it is important that the effort that both of you are putting in resonates with the way that you want to give and receive love. Let's see what else is happening next in this connection. First of all, we have the card Addiction. All the cards are spinning here. So that makes me think that this card could be related to any of these messages that we've spoken of already. Again, coming up with the concept of codependency, feeling a little bit tied to some patterns within this connection that really aren't necessarily the most healthy for you, or are kind of getting in the way of you being able to show up in your highest authentic self. Especially if this is someone where you've kind of been going back and forth quite a bit, lots of ups and downs, lots of on and off. That may really become more of an addiction to the pattern, an addiction to the dynamic between the two of you, rather than really feeling authentically interested in this person themselves. A lot of times, depending on our childhood situations or previous romantic connections that we've had, we may find these patterns really easy to fall into. They might feel very natural to us, they might feel comfortable and familiar, and yet they still keep us in a cycle of feeling stuck, of feeling blocked, of feeling hurt. And through the process of loving yourself, through the process of making the effort towards yourself, you can work towards releasing some of those patterns. You have the card Boat. So this is a card of receiving what you need. For some of you, that means getting to a point within this current connection where all of the things that you've been desiring, needing, asking for are coming in. And it is possible. But for many of you, this might also indicate that through the process of moving on from this connection, you will then be getting what you really need. And so this card doesn't necessarily mean you're getting everything that you think you want, but you are going to be getting what you need. And sometimes that can be really hard. It could be about somebody from the past where you're still maybe having a hard time moving on from them. And therefore, even if you're interacting or in a connection with another person now, even if this is much more healthy than whatever you were dealing with in the past, there could be still some things that are kind of getting in the way of you fully letting that go. And even if you might see this person and think, okay, I know that I'm no longer aligned with that. I know that there's something much better for me that I either have in front of me or I know is coming in, these patterns might still be holding you into that situation. even if you can consciously say that you no longer want to be in that type of dynamic. And so some of you might be noticing that a person from your past that maybe was a bit more toxic or unhealthy for you does continue to show back up in your life, even as you're trying to move on. And that could indicate that there's still some patterns that you need to heal. On a much lighter note, some of you could be traveling with this person. Some of you could be, spending a lot of time on the water or between places, maybe kind of going back and forth, or some of you are making a big kind of purchase together, like something like a boat, or, buying a car together, buying a house, something along those lines. So then we have the card Ascending. So you are leveling up from whatever is holding you back in this situation or past situation. You are transcending all of those obstacles and entering a new phase. And this is not something that is just happening randomly. I just saw 11:11 on my timer. You are and have been working so hard, whether you're conscious of it or not, going through these healing processes, learning from all of your past experiences, and that is what's helping you to now be able to enter this new phase, choosing better partners, asking for what you want, knowing when to leave when it's not coming in the way that you want it to, and really being able to recognize when somebody is giving you all of the things that you want, need, and desire. But that is not, I think some of you might be afraid of then losing that, or afraid of then going backwards. But even if there's occasionally times when you slip up, or even if you then meet somebody new who isn't, quite as good as you hoped, you have still worked so hard to get to this place, and you're never going to go fully back to where you were before. You are getting to new levels here. And lastly, we have Cupid's arrow. So for any of those of you who are single at this time, or are, considering being open to something new, have faith that love is coming. Have faith that all of the things that you want and have been asking for and manifesting are possible. For some of you, this could be the person from your past coming back in. But for a lot of you, this does signify to me new love and new opportunities. And this might not even necessarily be a new romantic connection coming in right now. That is very likely something that could happen in the future. But for some of you, this is also expanding what love looks like to you, and expanding the variety of different ways that you can receive love, whether that be from friends, your spirituality, your passions, your hobbies. They don't necessarily have to be people. It could be love towards animals, love towards nature, receiving love from all of these areas as well, and really working towards finding these dynamics that are reciprocal and mutually fulfilling, where you feel like you're both kind of pouring into each other and you're both able to give and receive love, and there isn't this pattern of addiction and toxic cycles that are holding you back. So through these 4 cards, I kind of see this progression going from being in these cycles, then stopping the cycles, getting to this point where you are moving on and you're starting to think about the things that you really are looking for and expecting in a connection and beyond. And then you're really ascending from any of those obstacles that are still kind of holding you back, any of those patterns. This is kind of, the hard in between of going from being stuck here and then being fully abundant, free, and ascending. And then that puts you in a position where you start noticing love all around you. And so regardless of, where you are in your relationship status at this point, or, how well the connection you are in is going, this is not to say that, that is destined to end or anything along those lines. It is very possible that this kind of process that you are going through can happen within a connection, where maybe this is something you've been dealing with in the past, and you've gone through this process of getting to a connection that is truly fulfilling and aligned for you. So if you are in that connection right now, that is incredible, and I'm so happy for you. And if you find yourself feeling like you're not really in that type of connection, where you don't feel like the effort is reciprocated or expressed in the way that you're looking for, where you find yourself disrespecting your own boundaries, not feeling like you really can look in the mirror and say that you love yourself, if you notice that people are coming back in that maybe you've already tried to let go of and you don't know how you feel about them, if there's feelings of uncertainty or lack of clarity, if any of these things are resonating, this is a process that you may be currently on or going through in the near future, where you are going to be really examining what these patterns and cycles are, and then working on ending them and bringing in new cycles that are much healthier for you. And for a lot of you, that might mean taking a bit of a break from, romantic love, or specifically taking a break from having that be the main place where you receive love, and starting to explore what other methods of this can look like, because that might be a really helpful way to kind of create new patterns and new cycles within your mind and your nervous system and your energy field that don't feel the same way as some of your past romantic connections have. You need to start rewiring some of those brain patterns, rewiring those connections that are keeping you in these cycles that, are calling in people that don't feel aligned or bring out your best self. And so, as I said, regardless of where you are in this connection, you are going through this process, so you can figure out where you might feel like you are right now within these kind of cards here. And this is a cycle within itself. This is not necessarily something where you just go from one to the next and it progresses like that. You may stay stuck in these for a little while. You may stay stuck in these for a little while. It's not linear, and you may reach a point where you really feel like you know yourself, you love yourself, and that you still haven't necessarily found the person to match that yet. And so then you might be meeting people that still display some of those patterns from your past, but now you know how to recognize them. You know how to stop them. And so for what's coming next in this connection, what's coming next in love for you, it's really you learning how to understand yourself better, how to express your needs more clearly, and how to recognize whether somebody is able to meet those or not. And so it's going to really depend on this other person in this situation and whether they are able to do that. And so I'm going to pull a few channeled message cards to see, for those of you who are in a connection right now, what this person might be feeling. I'm sorry for not giving you the time and energy you deserve. So that definitely can connect to the make the effort card. It's possible that this person really has not been showing up for you to the extent that you need and deserve. And I think this is something that they're aware of, or maybe this is something that you've already tried to communicate, and for whatever reason, they haven't been able to do that in the past. For some of you, that could mean that they're recognizing this now and putting in more of an effort. And so sometimes all it takes is having a conversation about it so that you can be aware of the other person's needs. You can't expect them to read your mind. But for others of you, this is a limitation that they have, and they just don't have the capacity to do that right now. We have, I want to be alone with you. So this person does probably want to take things to a bit more of a deeper level. This could be something related to, things that are a little more PG-13, PG-18, but it also is just, kind of cutting out all of the excess noise, whether you are usually kind of, seeing each other in a larger group setting, or whether things have just felt disconnected recently. They really want to reconnect with you. Lastly, we have it's you, it's always been you. So this card can kind of connect back to the reconciliation card potentially. For some of you, this is somebody that you've been back and forth with quite a bit, and therefore there's some kind of tie keeping you together. Some reason that you feel like, no matter how much you try to explore other people, you always come back to each other. And so this can at first glance seem very romantic, but it can also indicate that for some of you, this is a connection where it's not really the person themselves, but the patterns that you've learned and internalized over the course of your life. And so that's the important part to discern. Whether it's really that, you two have something so special that can't be found with anyone else, which is possible. But for others of you, this is somebody that is still in your life, even though maybe you're really not compatible long-term, or, you can still have been kind of destined to meet or really learned things from each other. There could still be a lot of significance of this person in your life, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they are meant to be in your life forever or be your number one person forever. And so if any of these messages are resonating, again, I want to remind you to prioritize yourself. Make sure that you are treating yourself with respect, respecting your boundaries, pouring love back into yourself, and beginning to notice these patterns about whether any of these cycles are showing up in your dynamics, in your connections right now. And if so, what you can do to recenter yourself, honor yourself, and align yourself with people who are really able and willing and wanting to give you all of the things that you need and deserve. Thank you.